Today, I'm really excited to have you on this podcast to share about your incredible journey over the last 20 odd years as a filmmaker and how, you really blew up. You had 100 million views on one documentary, which we're going to case study. It went super viral, no paid advertising, all organic. And you're going to be sharing with us in a very short time period, like this 20-minute interview here, how to go viral using these really powerful principles of filmmaking, what you term the 3 Cs, and how to apply them to whatever videos that you're working on, whether they're short 4 or 5 minute mini infomercials to mini documentaries or whatever. You're going to share your message with millions of people. Thank you so much for joining us today. I can't wait to get into it. So let's go way back to, we've known each other since 2010, I believe, when we were working on similar projects. We had we had colleagues in this field in New York City when we were working in the concrete jungle. But tell us how it all began, this filmmaking career of yours.
It started in Sweden, actually, about 30 years ago. And I grew up in a family of artists. My auntie was an artist. My uncle was a longtime cinematographer at Swedish Television. So I kind of grew up with that, and I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was in my teens. And then one day my uncle come and said, "Hey, do you want to maybe try out television?"
That's
cool. So I gave it a try. No, he was very generous. And he maybe I just give it a try, and the kid doesn't like it, give it a. But I was there with him for a couple of weeks, and I was pretty much sold. When I came into the movie set, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is it."
You were high school, just finished high school at this stage?
Yeah, I was like probably I was around 19 probably at the time, so right out of it, and. But I was told, I just came in, I was a couple of weeks, and I was like, I got to get back somehow, get back. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, what a pretty cool place to work.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, totally. So you started working on film, like feature films, as well as TV drama,
Yeah, I pretty much worked as a production assistant, director assistant, lighting assistant, camera assistant on and off for like 4 or 5 years.
Fantastic.
And shoulders, with the old good filmmakers in Sweden.
Yeah. What a start of your career. And then something really crazy happened, right? And what you had an accident? What happened there?
Yeah, in 1997, I had an accident where I fell down from a building, and I hurt my legs very, very bad. And I ended up in hospital, went through massive surgery, and I ended up in wheelchair, actually.
Oh, it's crazy.
And, it was really crazy. It was pretty much my filmmaking career was over. So, yeah, it was very dramatic event, and because I couldn't, filmmaking at the time when I was working with it was very physical. You're running around, you're carrying lights, you're driving actors, you're on set taking notes. It's kind of, you're on your feet all the time. So the accident pretty much, I
mean, how serious was this? I mean, you said your wheelchair. Like, how long were you in the wheelchair for?
Yeah, I was in wheelchair for probably 4 months.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but it was almost a year and a half to get out of the wheelchair and learn to walk again.
Oh wow.
And I kind of gave up on filmmaking, and was thinking, what am I gonna do with my life?
So even after a year, you weren't fully recovered. You were still.
I was still in pain, and I was still in pain when I was walking, when I was lifting, but I could do it, and it was gradually getting better. But it was a very difficult time. But I got into qigong and meditation and stuff like that, and that's when it started to like kind of slowly turn around.
Oh wow, interesting. So you got a lot of kind of traditional Chinese meditation. What type of all different types of testing out different things at the time, exploring?
Yeah, I was testing out different things, and then I got kind of hooked into this ancient Chinese qigong meditation that is very, very powerful, and it worked. I got better, and miraculous thing happened. I could sit in, after 2 years, I could sit in double lotus, which was like kind of medically impossible at the time. So I was kind of,
wow. Okay.
with the legs crossed,
like a yogic. Okay.
yogi thing.
So that reignited eventually after giving up hope, really, and then after started when your body started to heal through meditation and whatnot. You got back into filmmaking, so that there was a lucky break, to get you back back into the game, so to speak.
Yeah, I came from television, and then I worked in the professional field for pretty much 10 years on and off. And then I was really getting into, I wanted to do, films myself.
Yep.
Yeah, not working on other films. So I went to film school for a couple of years. And then I was freelancing for some years after that. I went to Africa.
Cool.
Did different documentaries and commercial work. And then there was this position in New York.
New York. That's where we met. I'll never forget, it was this cool Swedish dude, right? And we had a lot, I was doing a lot of television stuff.
Yeah.
And because I think I had some mutual friends when you were working on, what was the Japanese carpentry? And I had a friend, Long Fei, you were working on his documentaries, the Kung Fu Master, right? You were like this taxi driver, secret, Kung Fu Master by night. Yes. And you made this documentary that just went viral. And was it Journey to the East? Is that series?
Yeah, the Journey. I worked on the Journey to the East documentary series there, and we did 6 documentaries. And
cool.
The Japanese and the martial arts documentary went viral later on YouTube. Actually, it was very unexpected, but 2 million views. I got a phone call from one of the guys, and he said, I quit driving taxi. I have a martial arts school. And the video got over 2 million views, and it's
and that's back when that meant something, right? 2010 or whatever.
Yeah, it was like, what's going on? There's a lot of people watching it.
Yeah. We'll get into those secrets, right? Those 3 C's in a moment. Yeah. So then from there, you got PBS distributed with another documentary. This is like documentary after documentary. Well, what was that? What was that project?
Yeah, in 2015, I ran into an executive producer for PBS, and we started talking about ideas and things, and we came up with a documentary idea that we got funding for, and we finished and executed, and it took a year in total, and it went all over PBS for about half a year, I think, and was very.
What was the budget roughly?
I think it was around 250,000 in total.
Okay. Yeah,
somewhere around those figures.
Yeah, got it. Wow,
somewhere cool. Those figures. I mean, it was a kind of a low budget film because it was about a human right issue, so it's not a commercial production, but it was an amazing project, like strong stories, and a big topic at the time.
Yeah, fantastic. And then the big breakthrough, right? We're going to talk about this 100 million juggernaut that we've been teasing people. How do you get to 100 million views? What was the part of it was obviously, timing, this is 2020.
Yeah.
And what happened in 2020 that everyone was, glued to the, social media to learn about?
Yeah. No, it was crazy. I mean, I just got a call from a producer who needed a director and a shooter and an editor, and with some experience. And she had been doing research about the origin of the coronavirus at the time and had an angle that nobody else was covering.
Wow.
He needed story, creative input. So we worked together on that, and very intense for 2-3 months. It came together super fast. And and I mean, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the numbers.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, we're going to get the editors to flash some of the numbers. One person shared it, got 70 million or 67 million views or something. Collectively, there's about 100 million that they, producers estimate. But phenomenal. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that one if you've, were looking for more information about the, origins of the coronavirus back a couple of years back. I still remember seeing it. I was like, wow. And actually, I didn't even know it was you until you told me, a few weeks ago when we, caught up. But incredible, incredible. So what are the secrets? Like, we're here to share these 3 C's, right? So, if we wanted to, it's never just 3 things. Obviously, there's a million and one things that, I've worked on, documentaries as well, and it's complex. For me, I was completely out of the industry and worked with, luckily, a co-director, producer, Michael Perlman, and our film became this crazy Oscar contender back 8-9 years ago or whatever. But from a really, true filmmaker here, you've done, I don't know how many dozens, or if not close to 100 films or documentaries over your 30-year career. But what are these 3 C's that you talk about?
Yeah, the 3 C's that kind of summarizes a lot of things, just like you said, is clarity, connection, compassion.
Okay, no, I love it. I love those 3 C's. The C's always kind of work, don't they, in terms of frameworks? But so let's talk about clarity. What do you mean? Clarity of what?
Well, it's clarity of message. It's clarity of story.
Yeah,
it's clarity. Yeah, and I also clarity of the audience and where they're coming from, and so that's a huge thing. And it's oftentimes where a film fails or makes it well, and it's just something that I noticed over the years, and it's becoming just more and more obvious to me that the films that really actually has some kind of viral component, they're very clear, they're very easy to follow.
Yeah.
Whether it be like narrative clarity or visual clarity or emotional clarity, the clarity is kind of always there.
Yeah.
And it makes it easy to follow. It makes it easy to connect with, and it makes it easy to kind of enter the world of the film, because every film is like a little mini world that you have to kind of bring the viewer into. So yeah, it's just become like like a major kind of thing that I work with first. I try to get it, that the message clear, the story clear, and to follow those kind of traditional principles to make that, and then everything else is kind of weaved around that, I feel.
Okay, so there's the concept of the hero's journey, right? The whole hero's journey. That's part of the story arc. But do people often, I find that there's so many potential angles, right, for stories. But how do you pick the storyline that, as you mentioned, is relatively easy to follow? Because if it's too complex and too convoluted, you'll lose people. They're going to go, it's like copywriting as well, right? Good advertising copy. If you don't write to a 5th grade level, people they just won't get it, right? The big claim, if it's not clear why this is relevant, which I guess it gets to the second C, which is connection, right? Connection to what, to whom? What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, so the clarity ties into connection in the sense that it has to be clear, in the sense that it has something to do with people's lives, I think, and you have
what's in it for me? Why should I watch it?
Why am I watching this? And if the video could be perfectly clear, but if it doesn't have anything to do with the person watching, there is nothing there to connect to. So definitely, and that's, I guess there's, the marketing comes in there, some journalistic principles, who you're talking to and all that. But there's also a sense of, like our shared humanity, and there are like common themes that everybody connects to: compassion, love, all these feelings, and that's actually, I think it's ultimately what creates the connection.
Yeah, totally. So it's not just the usual. Okay, the avatar, what's in it, what's the pain point for that particular perfect ideal audience member. But if you want something to go super viral, 100 million, I mean, obviously the coronavirus was perfect timing. Billions of people care about it. But I don't think there were many, if any, other documentaries that got to 100 million views. So there was something, about that really spoke to that individual, the individual watching it. So they shared it, like literally, I don't know how many, to get to 67 million. I think there was a million shares or something crazy.
Yeah, it was all over. Yeah,
it was just, that how do you trigger someone to want to share it is not easy, and that means that they feel like not only did it speak to them, but it was so powerful that they really wanted to share it with their friends.
Yeah, and I think also there is a connection that happens when you present a story or an angle that nobody else is doing.
Yeah.
You uncover a new territory for people, and
Yeah.
that's really providing
The
value.
epiphany. Interesting. It's a big idea. Like in the business world, we talk about, what's the big idea that you want to share, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. And then the final C, which I love how you describe this in it's
Compassion.
it's what do you mean by that, right? It's like, this is what differentiates, I think, a good director from award-winning type level director. This is the compassion as a director interviewing the subjects to draw out their what?
Yeah, I think the compassion is a very powerful component if the director cares for the story.
Mm-hmm.
And if the director cares for the story and for the interviewee, and there is an emotion, there is some sort of connection and care there, then of course, it's much easier for the person being interviewed to tell the story. And the most difficult part is to get the details of the story. How did you feel at that specific moment when this happened to you? Because that creates stories, and stories create emotion, and emotion creates connection with the viewer. But it all comes from the interview and creating this compassionate, field, if you may say so, or compassionate connection where there's no judgment. There's a genuine interest for, the story that the person you're in front of you are telling you. And I don't think you can fake it. It's something that just develops over the years, some kind of appreciation.
Yeah.
That matures, like, wow, people are, this person is actually sitting in front of the camera and telling his life story to me, in front of the whole world, because eventually the video is going to be seen by thousands of people or millions of people.
Millions, yeah.
It's a courageous thing to do. So
they have to be really vulnerable, and it's not easy to be vulnerable, to open up.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our audience is very much business oriented folks who want to share their message with the world. They may be very high ticket and so on. And doing a 1 or 2 hour documentary is kind of, unless they're Tony Robbins wanting to do a Netflix I Am Not Your Guru 2 hour documentary, behind the scenes documentary, which God knows how $1 million plus budget type of thing. And as you know, we've worked with Tony's team before. We've created literally hundreds of videos for him, and so logistically, we know just how hard it would be to pull off such a full length documentary, for someone like Tony. And that's when we realized that there would be a demand for a hybrid type of mini documentary we could introduce to the market. I reached out to you because we were working on these really interesting projects, and we needed more directors. And recalled, hey, what's Maddie up to? It's been so many years, and I moved to a couple of years ago to your town, you could say, because you've been here way before I was. And I didn't realize you were 3 minutes away from my house. It's like, that's insane. But fate, as you would say. But we're super excited to work with you on these new projects, what we call TED Talk, Netflix style documentaries. They're 15, 20 minutes, TED Talk length, roughly 20 minutes. The reason why TED Talks have gone super viral, because they know that is the ideal length. They too long and people, switch off. Too short and it's an infomercial, right? So how do you share your expertise, your message, your story, your key frameworks in just 20 minutes in a way that doesn't feel like it's staged like a TED Talk, which is normally perfectly scripted and practiced 100 times, but in a Netflix style type of documentary format.
Right.
And this is where we bring the best marketing strategic type of framework, so that if you're running online campaigns, driving paid traffic, and even before you do that, even organically, if you create a very powerful mini documentary, people will naturally share it, right? But if you also throw, in paid traffic to it, you can get, following specific, direct response frameworks, you can get people to literally, after watching it, go, holy cow, I've got to reach out and connect with this person, right? So that's kind of the goal, where the TED Talk, we take, you as the expert and you to share your point of view as the expert on stage, but done in a way that doesn't feel staged, because it's We've got multi-camera angles. We've got people, our camera crews, filmmakers like you following the client for a few days, getting the behind the scenes shots that, and then putting it together so that it doesn't feel like it's scripted in a way that it does cover all the key points of, grabbing attention and, educating and also sharing the powerful story and the following the frameworks, but done in a way where you have a master interviewer like yourself, drawing out, the key storylines, right? So that all the things are covered. Obviously, a lot of pre-interviewing and pre-production so that we can just go in, not spend a whole year in production like a normal documentary, but done in a way that, within a few days, we're in and out. A few weeks later, we've got this finished product for the client, and it's very powerful. So excited to work with on these projects. So, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to collaborate. Having you as part of the team is, obviously super exciting, given your track record, 30 years and, going super viral and viral many, many times. So we have the best of both worlds. How do you go organic viral, whether you just upload it on YouTube or share whatever, as well as a lot of our clients have that paid traffic in mind to generate specific leads. So super, super exciting. If you want to learn more, just click below and, just fill out the application form. Check out some of our other work that we've done along these lines. And, would love to hear from you. From anyone who's interested in working with, Matthias and myself, just click below somewhere on the website, and we look forward to having a one-on-one chat with you. All right. So Matthias, thank you for sharing these 3 C's with us, and can't wait to have a game of ping pong with you when you're back next week.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. So click below and check out more about these Netflix-style TED Talk documentaries. All right. Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maddie.
Thanks.